Twitter, man. Just mad on Twitter at people like you. Ah! Okay, great. Next one is from... Wait, they listened... This was Simon's I Don't Like Salad. After all these fucking salad Why? Everyone fucking salad posting in the voicemail this week. What is some kind of virus? It's as though some kind of virus were spreading among people that makes them think about salad or something. I don't know. I'm not sure what to make of it. Next one is called Yeah.
There's something reassuring about the fact that Saint will most likely die before you. Knowing that he will have to face his death in his own cowardly, pathetic way. I do. It truly sense of courage.
Who's gonna die? Did he say Nate was gonna die? Did he say Iowa? I don't speak up. Your message was muddled. Terrible. Bad job. Next one. Your eating preferences.
Alright, you fucks. Do you prefer eating salad on a plate or in a bowl? And, double question, when you're eating salad, do you prefer a fork with long prongs or short prongs? We need to know.
All my forks have the same prong length. I never think about prong length. I don't know. I have no idea. Who the fuck would eat salad on a plate? I guess I could... That's awful. Imagine trying to eat salad on a plate. I don't have bowls big enough to make salads that do it for me. The biggest bowls that I have are these they're sort of like long-ish bowls, like you might serve soup in. And they just don't hold that much salad. So when I make a salad, which I do a lot lately, just spring mix, Caesar dressing, grated Parmesan cheese, baby. Mwah. Bellissimo. No, I don't even mix it in a bowl. I mixed it in the biggest Tupperware I have. Like a big, maybe I have a big, I don't know how big it is. It's maybe 9 inches by 9 inches square and kind of deep. I don't know. I mix it in that because I just need the biggest vessel because I need to fucking mix it all. I need to mix all the leaves up because they're not packed that tightly. I have to toss them around. I gotta toss them around, and if the bowl isn't big, if there's not excess volume, they're gonna fucking come out the sides and I'll have to clean it up, and that's stupid. No. Big bowl, deep bowl, no plate. Give me a freaking break. Why don't you? Next one. Weird Al Yankovic. Although they spelled it Yankovic, but whatever. All right, what's up?
Hey, it's me, Weird Al Yankovic, and I got a parody from Ben's song from the last
just
episode.
Like him.
I believe in the Quran and the people of Iran. Please join Boko Haram.
Okay. Thanks for parodying my dream song to make it about Islam. That's pretty edgy. That's pretty edgy compared to your usual content, Mr. Weird Al, sir. But you got to take chances sometimes. You know what? You got to speak truth to power. I appreciate it. Next one, they listened to Why Munchie Why. So we're there. We've arrived. The last one that was skipped over last time was called Left. Actually, I think maybe that this one was not posted by the time last episode was, but we skipped it and thought we did and didn't read it. So I'm going to read it anyway. It's called Leftism in My PCP Returns, probably a week late again. So let's hear that.
Yeah, this is the guy that left the voicemail where I not so subtly threw shade at Nate because I think he needs to read another book.
Right.
I still think that, but I want to apologize because I left that expecting Nate to not be there to defend himself, and that's not cool. And also, I am clarifying that I was talking about the conversation that Ben and Digi were having on the episode where they were together before Gib came in, and not the episode where Ben was just rambling on his own, because I don't think Ben talked about politics when he was just by himself. If he did,
Not
it was
really.
very brief. I'm not gonna. I'm not going to go back and double check that, though, so maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Thanks for everything all you guys do, including the ones that I not so subtly make fun of. Yeah.
I don't remember. Right, this person wrote in or called in another voicemail called Leftism in My PCP, and I'm sorry to say, but I don't remember off the top of my head what you said in that one about Nate or anything else for that matter. But if oh wait, I see it. I'm not going to listen to it. Whatever. Maybe you, the viewer, remember that voicemail, and you can infer some context and glean something about what this person's intended message. As for me, I'm too stupid, and that's gonna do it for this extra special edition of PCP Extra Credits. Ben listens to every voicemail in protest. That's so. The next time you fat cats, the next time you fucking bourgeois PCP members want to go and destroy the post office, a gerrymander against voicemail, want to gerrymander the voicemails, want to do some voter suppression against our beautiful call-in fans. I'm here, Ben Saint, the people's champion, to lift up the marginalized, downtrodden, disenfranchised PCP listeners, so that everyone can make fun of them and their shitty voicemails equally. Thank you for listening. Good day, sir and madam.
And now, the conclusion.
My next episode is, we haven't had any matchups so far. So that's good. I'm kind of curious. Do you have on your list Chain of Command?
I do not.
You do not.
All right. I respect it. I like it, but it's not in my rewatchability. That's
fair. But I think it's got some things that are interesting to talk about.
Absolutely.
Which is why I bring it up. This is the famous "There Are Four Lights" episode of The Next Generation, where Picard is pulled from command of the Enterprise. He's pulled out of the captain's chair by Admiral Bicheyev because they want Picard to go on a secret mission in Cardassian space.
Starfleet intelligence believes that the Cardassians are developing a metagenic weapon.
Oh my God.
And they need Picard, because he's got some knowledge on the subject, to go check this out. So they pull him from command, and then they bring in the villain from RoboCop, Captain Jellicoe, to take over the Enterprise, presumably permanently.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessary to give Captain Jellicoe command of the Enterprise just to conduct a negotiation.
The Enterprise will be in a dangerous situation, and I want someone on the bridge who has a great deal of experience with the Cardassians. No offense, Commander, but that's not you.
And so then Picard goes on his mission with Crusher and Worf, and it's a trap. The Cardassians, those evil Cardassians, have set a trap to capture Picard, to extract knowledge from him.
Well, it's a good thing they didn't send 3 nobody Starfleet security guards to go on this mission instead of the captain of the flagship.
You know what? It would be a lamer episode if it were just a red shirt being tortured.
Well, that's why you send a 20-year-old Bajoran girl into Cardassian space on a secret mission, because they don't come back.
Okay. Anyway, Picard is captured. Picard is tortured, and it's two-parter about torture.
I don't enjoy this, but I must demonstrate. It will make everything clearer.
I think it's David Warner?
Yeah.
Plays the Cardassian?
Yeah, the famous...
British character actor.
He's in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country.
Star Trek VI, he was the villain in Tron. But he tortures Picard and interrogates him. And basically, he can't get any information out of Picard. And at some point, he knows that Picard doesn't have any useful information for him, but he just wants to break Picard for the sake of breaking him.
I've just received word. There's been a battle. The Enterprise is burning in space.
The invasion of Minos Corva has been successful.
He just wants Picard to admit there are 5 lights when there are in fact 4.
Tell me how many lights you see.
He wants to dominate him.
He wants to utterly dominate him, and he completely dehumanizes Picard. He like, you know, his like daughter comes in the room at some point and like, oh yeah, how you doing? And didn't even care that his daughter is witnessing this man being horrifically tortured, because Picard doesn't. He's just a piece of meat.
But human mothers and fathers don't love their children as we do. They're not the same as we are.
The torturer, David Warner's character, from what I recall, it's all status for them, but on the inside, they're the weakling. They're the scared one. I think from what I recall...
That happens in the episode.
Picard breaks him, basically, because they say, you've gone far enough, David Warner.
Well, he admits something that happened when he was a child that scared him. Oh no, this is why he's like explaining why the military is good, because before the military took over Cardassia, everyone was starving and things were terrible, and I was just a scared little boy. And then Picard points out, that's all I'll ever see when I look at you now. You're just a scared little boy.
It needs to be about
Whenever I look at you now, I won't see a powerful Cardassian warrior. I will see a 6-year-old boy who is powerless to protect himself.
Be quiet.
Lashing out.
Yeah.
Just infuriates him even more.
Right.
In spite of all you've done to me, I find you a pitiable man.
Picard, stop it.
Captain Jellicoe takes over, and he is not laid back at all. It's like, things are going to be done like this. I want 4 shifts, and you got to get these shifts ready. I want them ready 4 minutes ago. And we're going to work twice as hard. And everybody on the Enterprise is used to basically the Enterprise, like before then, it's just like a luxury cruise liner. Everyone just hanging out in bar and doing jazz, and suddenly there's this harsh taskmaster in charge. But I think what's interesting about it to me is normally in like a Star Trek episode, when the new authority figure comes in, it's usually an admiral, but they're always like the bad guy. Yeah. They're always evil. And our heroes have to take charge back from this commander who's just, they're off their gourd and they're doing terrible things. But
the Doomsday Machine episode of TOS.
That's the classic one.
The Admiral's nuts and he's putting everyone in danger because he's just gone bonkers.
But
it's a twist with Jellicoe.
Chain of Command completely subverts that, because everything that Captain Jellicoe does is fucking right.
Mr. Worf.
Prepare to detonate.
I will agree to your terms.
Excellent.
This episode makes Riker look like such a fucking asshole, because he butts heads specifically with Riker.
Let's drop the ranks for a moment. I don't like you. I think you're insubordinate, arrogant, willful, and I don't think you're a particularly good first officer.
And Riker just comes off looking like this petulant brat.
Well, now that the ranks are dropped, Captain, I don't like you either. You are arrogant and closed-minded. You need to control everything and everyone.
But the truth is that Captain Jellicoe knows exactly how to handle the Cardassians. He knows when to bluff, how to bluff. We got him in the nebula, we got him right where we want him, we're gonna do this. And the sad thing of that episode is when Captain Jellicoe has to come to Riker, because Riker is the best pilot on the ship, and they need a good pilot to lay the mines around the nebula. And he basically has to beg Riker to do his fucking job.
Will you pilot the shuttle, Commander?
Yes. You're welcome.
It's just a very interesting choice that they didn't make Jellicoe the villain. And I'm wondering why they did that, if they just didn't want to just shake up what we normally do with the evil admiral.
Yeah.
I don't know what the thinking was behind it.
Yeah, normally it would be like a more conventional storyline would be Jellicoe's gone power mad because he has the flagship and he's just blowing everybody up. Riker,
oh no, what Jellicoe's doing is going to start a war. We have to, Commander Riker has to find a way to stop him from really ruining this situation.
Remove Captain Jellicoe from the bridge. I'm taking over. We're leaving this situation and we're going to rescue Picard.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work. They let Picard go. Jellicoe solves the problem, and Riker realizes that there are different ways to do things.
The salt in the wound is that Jellicoe even manages to save Picard.
I understand you're holding a Starfleet officer named Jean-Luc Picard. I expect him returned immediately.
Even though he doesn't know, we gotta let Picard die. But even after that, he still manages to save Picard. It is a shame he never came back. The other thing I wonder about this episode, why wasn't this the cliffhanger for season 6? The cliffhanger for season 6 was fucking Descent. Yeah. Probably one of the worst TNG episodes or stories. And this would have been such a good cliffhanger because it similar to Best of Both Worlds, it leaves the question open as to whether or not they're going to shake up the status quo.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they are shaping up Jellicoe to be the new captain. Maybe we won't see Picard again.
I think they had a cliffhanger problem, 6 and 7-ish, because they also had Picard gets kidnapped and turned into a mercenary two-parter. I think that was supposed to be the 6 and 7 two-parter. And then they said, let's do Descent, and let's just put this in as a two-parter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of we need something that's really good. What do we got?
You're right, Tamara. The resonator cannot be stopped by phasers and shields.
Number 4, this is an official guilty pleasure episode. It is called Disaster.
Oh God, that's a very wait. No, that one's fine. I thought you were talking about the episode that was Die Hard on the Enterprise.
No. That's a guilty pleasure and a half. That episode, that's okay.
It needs to be about 20%
I love Disaster. Tapestry was Quantum Leap. Disaster is more or less the Poseidon adventure in space.
Yeah. It's patterned after a classic disaster movie.
Yeah.
It's like the 70s.
Right, exactly. Like Poseidon Adventure or Towering Inferno or movies like that. There's personal drama, there's action, ship tech stuff, and teamwork. Conflict, yes. So the episode starts off with Picard. This is another kind of a famous Picard episode because he's trapped in an elevator with 3 children.
Well then,
This one starts off on the bridge. O'Brien's there, Troy's there. There's a lieutenant lady who's like the highest rank. She's because like Miles O'Brien has like no rank.
always good to meet another Chief Petty Officer, Sergei Rozhenko, formerly of the USS Intrepid.
Miles Edward O'Brien, sir. Good to meet you.
He's the transporter technician.
Yes. And so Picard leaves the bridge with 3 kids who won the science fair contest and gets in the turbolift, and they run into a quantum filament, some sort of space anomaly that fucks the ship up royally. So you have a wonderful little action scene where everything's like shaking and exploding, and you have, I think, is it 4 or 5 different scenarios of survival in different parts of the ship, where there's interpersonal drama and conflict. Most importantly, bridge, send forward, Picard in the turbo lift, and then Riker and Data trying to stop the ship from blowing up. And I love it. It's fun. It's adventurous. Oh, and Beverly Crusher and Geordie LaForge in the cargo bay. So there's all these great little moments in it. And, it's not the most thought-provoking episode. It doesn't deal with ethics or, it's just a fun disaster episode that has a lot of nice little details.
Yeah.
And as I rewatched it, I really enjoyed kind of picking up on more details. You start off with, Troy's on the bridge, and I wanted to mention, you talked about chain of command.
Yeah.
after that, she started wearing a proper uniform because
Jellicoe gave her a dressing down.
Yes, he yelled at her. He's like, "Why are you wearing that?"
I prefer a certain formality on the bridge. I'd appreciate it if you wore a standard uniform when you're on duty.
Put on a fucking uniform.
And yeah, and eventually Troy takes a test to become a commander, because in this she carries the rank of lieutenant commander, and she doesn't even know it. Miles O'Brien mansplains her own rank to her.
I believe Counselor Troy is the senior officer on the deck.
Counselor Troy?
She carries the rank of lieutenant commander.
Because she's in command of the Enterprise. She's the ranking officer on the bridge. And so her situation is she's in command, and she's got the Miles O'Brien, the by the numbers, by the books guy, and she's got the wild card, Ensign Rowe, former terrorist.
Who just wants to let everybody blow up.
Who's like, fucking separate the ship. The other half of the ship's gonna blow up. Fuck those people.
But that's damn cold-blooded. What about the people down there?
There's no evidence that anyone is still alive in the drive section.
No evidence they're dead either.
She diverts power from the phasers into the bridge terminal, like, and O'Brien's like, "What are you doing? That's dangerous."
I diverted power from the phaser array, and I dumped it into the engineering control system.
You what?
There's this wonderful part, because this is the episode where Worf delivers Keiko O'Brien's baby in 10 Forward. And it's a humorous, lighthearted scene. You know, he's like, he did the simulation. He's all right, oh, the baby should be coming out now. You know, and she's like, "It doesn't work that way, Worf." But in the beginning, Keiko's standing there and she's like, "Here's my baby," you know. And Riker's like, "Oh, you should name him William after me." And Data's like, "Can I touch the belly?" Everybody's interested in the baby. But the way the shot is framed, Worf is standing there with his arms folded, like just looking elsewhere. He has no interest whatsoever. He does not give a shit. And so, as fate would have it, he's the one who delivers the baby in a matter of hours. So it's this wonderful little touch. And then you have, and this is probably me reading in way too much, but you have Beverly Crusher nagging Geordi to be in her play. He's like, I don't sing. I don't like doing this. I don't want to do it. Leave me alone. I'm working. And she's like, come on. So I like the little touch of everyday life on the Enterprise. You know, Beverly Crusher's always trying to do plays. She's bored. But it turns out Geordi's hesitant to do an activity that involves singing, which is lungs.
I am the very model of a modern major general. I have information, vegetable, animal, and mineral. No, I can't do this.
Yes, you can.
I cannot sing in front of people.
You were terrific.
Breath. Breathing capacity.
Oh my God, you're right. You're right, that's perfect.
Who's the first that passes out when they're run out of oxygen, right?
Yeah.
Geordi. Who's the one who makes it over the control panel? Beverly Crusher, who also is a skilled tap dancer.
Okay.
She tap dances her way over to the control panel and can still maintain breath because she exercises her lungs in her place. So their character flaws are showed during that. I'm like, oh yeah, she made it over there. She's good on her feet. She's the dancing doctor, as they say, right? That was a little character arc for Geordi to maybe try singing a little more. He doesn't have the best lung capacity. But their problem is they have a plasma fire, and then they have big canisters of rocket or jetpack fuel.
The corundum in those containers is used in emergency thruster packs. It's normally pretty stable stuff, but when you expose corundum to radiation, there's a way of exploding.
That are just in the cargo bay. So it's neat. We don't know what's in those canisters, and so it's like, and then Picard's like, okay, you know, we got to get some cabling. Okay, little girl, hit two buttons, then hit the button below it, right? And that'll release the panel. Like all those little like tiny technical details. Like Picard knows, all these Starfleet officers know which buttons to hit that'll make these things happen. They've memorized it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And that makes the control panel come out. Music, pull out all the optical cabling. We're going to use that as a rope. So the guts of the ship, all the details, all those like wonderful things that you don't see in Discovery. Everyone's yelling and exploding things. And it's just that kind of stuff that I like, the personal drama.
You can't let wishful thinking guide your decision, Counselor. It's time to leave.
We will separate the ship when I decide that it's time and not before. Is that clear, Ensign?
The action-adventure element of it, the survival, how do we survive this situation, and technical stuff. Because then Riker and Data have to get to engineering. And
Riker take Data's head with him at some point?
Yes,
Yeah,
there's an electrical beam that they need, so they need to break the circuit on, so they need a non-conductive material, and Data's like, that's my body. You could take off my head and bring it to engineering.
You want me to take off your head? Yes, sir.
And we'll figure out what the problem is. So it's like a bunch of wild stuff happening in this episode.
That's a quality pick. I haven't thought about that episode in a while, but that's a quality pick.
Yeah.
Characters doing things that are out of their wheelhouse.
Yeah. Troy is thrust into the command chair, and you know,
in her mind, she's just there to be the counselor. Never thought she'd have to be never thought she'd ever have to make a command decision.
So she's asking about the quantum filament, and Miles O'Brien explains it. And she's like, "So it's like a cosmic string?" And he's like, "No,
that's a completely different phenomenon."
That's an entirely different phenomenon. And then this is purely for the audience sake, because Riker's not there.
Mm-hmm. We've got a problem.
To ask dumb questions, but you know, they're talking about having a containment breach in engineering, and Troy's like, what will happen then?
If it falls to 15%, the field will collapse. And we'll have a containment breach.
Which means?
And Rose like, the ship will explode.
Which means the ship will explode.
You know, that's totally for the sake of the audience, but I think everybody in Starfleet should understand what a warp core breach means.
A containment breach. Even those little kids in the elevator shaft understand what a containment breach means.
See, that's very, very commendable.
Troy has a problem, you know. She has a decision to make. No one's in engineering. The containment field is failing. If it gets down beneath 15%, the ship will blow up. Is anyone alive down there even? Who knows? Why don't we separate the ship? At least the people in the saucer section will be okay. They don't make mention on how they're going to get away. I don't think the impulse engines were working. Whatever. And then Troy's like, no, you know, I got to make the call. Let's hold out. Let's see if we can get some power down there to the terminals. You know, everybody kind of, even though they're all in different parts of the ship, they all find a way to work together, get out of their own little situation. It's the Poseidon adventure in space, and it's just wonderful. It's just a rewatchable episode.
That's a quality pick. I didn't even think to rewatch that one. I just haven't thought about that episode in a while. But no, you're reminding me of it. That's a good episode.
It falls in line with kind of that one where the Enterprise keeps blowing up over and over again.
Speaking of the one where the Enterprise keeps blowing up over and over again,
take it away, Rich.
My fourth pick is Cause and Effect, which in my eyes is the ultimate space anomaly episode.
Yeah.
Cause and Effect is a wonderful time loop episode where at the beginning of the episode, quite shockingly, the first thing that happens is the fucking Enterprise just blows up and everyone is on the bridge panicking.
All hands abandon ship! Repeat! All hands abandon!
I saw that live on TV, and I ran to tell my mom. I said, Mom, the Enterprise just blew up! And she gave two shits.
And then we have the credits. And then after the credits, everything is just normal. I think the first thing we see is like the poker game. Is that the first thing we see? It's like one of the running things through TNG was that Riker hosts poker games every week. And they're just playing poker, and they have some like vague feelings of deja vu. Geordi goes to the sick bay. He's got a problem with was it a headache or his visor?
Yeah, headache.
And then if you come, Crusher's like, have you come in for this before? He's like, nah, I don't think so.
Something wrong, Mr. Warden? I am experiencing Nipah. The feeling I've done this before.
I've been having the same feeling. Wait.
And then the ship blows up again. And then they're playing poker again. And they're having more deja. And this loop just keeps continuing where they go through the same day over and over again, only just every time there's an increasing feeling of deja vu to the point where they realize something is wrong and they don't know what. And I just love the way in this episode they have to just figure out what's going on when their memory basically just gets erased every time they go through it.
It's all because Kelsey Grammer crashed his ship into theirs.
Well, that's a weird aspect of this episode. Just Kelsey Grammer comes in out of nowhere on a 100-year-old starship.
He was stuck in the loop too.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he didn't figure it out after 100+ years, but it was a wonderful cameo. Kelsey Grammer's just, I want to be in Star Trek.
You get that a lot in Star Trek. A lot of people are Trekkies, and they just want to show up in some form.
Yeah.
Christian Slater is in
Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country.
Yeah.
Mick Fleetwood, the drummer, Fleetwood Mac.
Oh yeah, yeah. Where's he at?
You'll never even guess.
Oh my God, is he under like some bizarre alien makeup?
Do you remember the fish people that had to be stuck in those tanks of salt?
That's Fleetwood Mac?
Well, it's not the whole band.
Yeah.
It's just Mick Fleetwood. Iggy Pop appears in Deep Space Nine as a Vorta.
Perhaps one day, the Ferengi will take their place as valued members of the Dominion.
Anything's possible.
Whoopi Goldberg, that was basically, I'm a fan, I want to be in it. It was a bit more than a cameo. I mean, they give her a fucking part. But
Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, hologram Stephen Hawking. I don't have much else special to say about it other than it's just a really well done classic space anomaly episode.
Yeah, I really like the visual effects too. There's some the visual effects just got so good towards the end. Like you have like the Naked Now episode where they all get the drunk disease.
Yeah.
And then Wesley Crusher uses the tractor beam to push the asteroid into the ship, so it blows up.
Wesley Crusher.
And it looks so bad, but this, like when that Miranda class ship comes out of the spatial anomaly,
the time anomaly, yeah,
scrapes up against the warp nacelle and just blows up. I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome. Those models and the effects later on were awesome. My favorite TNG episode of all time is the Beverly Crusher Harlequin romance novel episode.
You prick.
I'm just kidding.
You lying prick.
Okay, so this is a deep cut, and it's my favorite one because we haven't mentioned one of our favorite characters, Lieutenant Reginald Barclay. It's the Nth Degree.
Which Barclay episode was that?
It is the one where Barclay becomes the smartest human being who ever existed.
Lieutenant, you could very well be the most advanced human being who has ever lived.
It's all Barclay, all the time, and it's just a wonderful little character episode that has humor, action, an interesting sci-fi premise.
Now, for people who don't know Star Trek, who is Barclay and why is he special?
I guess the question is whether Mr. Barclay is Enterprise material.
Barclay is a man who lives in the 24th century, and Apparently, they have not found a cure for Asperger's. He is a smart, competent Starfleet officer, but he's incredibly socially awkward.
Your preliminary report had a couple of interesting theories, Reg.
And nervous.
Why don't you bring us all up to speed on your findings so far?
Yes. It wasn't a maintenance problem.
And I guess there's no medication for that either. In the 24th century, you can't take an antidepressant or some Valium or something. He previously had a holodeck addiction because he hated his normal life, so he escaped to the holodeck.
Riker, you're nothing but a pretty mannequin in a fancy uniform. You're full of hot air. Picard has a problem with me. You tell him to come and talk to me himself.
Where he like punches Riker and he sleeps with the women on of the Starship Enterprise, and he becomes addicted to the holodeck. But he's an awkward guy and nobody likes him, except for Geordi kind of tolerates him.
It's a wonderful contrast, like everybody else you ever see on Star Trek, because every character on Star Trek is just confident and smart and intelligent and professional.
No, sir. We'll have to shut off some systems. We'll shut them down a few at a time. It shouldn't. I don't think so.
Barclay, it works for Barclay because he's such a contrast to that.
And that's why a lot of times side characters to me, even in Next Gen, are more interesting. Because you had that kind of clumsy Sonia Gomez character, and that she spills the coffee on Picard.
Oh, no! Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Captain.
You have Guinan. There's characters that are not. Either are Starfleet or aren't. They're interesting because they have quirks. Like Riker to me is dull. Geordi's a little dull. Crusher's dull.
I think Riker only exists because they wanted to back up Kirk.
Yeah.
If their experiment with the weird bald diplomat didn't work, we've got Kirk 2.0 waiting in the wings.
The hotshot ladies man who runs around and punches people. Yeah, no, I know that. I'm well aware of that. But yeah, Barclay is off the charts, and it starts with. It opens with Barclay is in one of Dr. Crusher's plays, Cyrano de Bergerac, where he is fumbling his way through his performance. He's terrible. He keeps fucking up, forgetting his lines, and everyone's just like uncomfortable.
He does not know. Not yet. But he is proud, noble, brave.
And he's a fuck up. He's a royal fuck up. And then they have to go fix the Argus array.
Is that where you get the data? Why is everybody clapping?
Yes.
Because it's polite.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Barclay's performance was adequate, but clearly not rooted in the method approach. I do not understand
Data, because it's polite.
Because it's polite. Like Worf and Geordi like side-eye each other. Oh my God. And then the plot starts, the Argus array is this giant space array that sends communications around, and it's going to blow up, basically, and they don't know, they got to try to fix it. Geordi and Barclay go out in a shuttlecraft to take a look, and there's a weird space probe there floating around, and it sends a blast of energy. It doesn't get into Geordi's brain because he's blind and he has his thing, but it gets into Barclay's brain, and then he changes. Little things start building up. The big first thing is an action scene.
The probe is following.
Options number one. We can't use photon torpedoes. An explosion this close could cripple us.
The Enterprise is being attacked and chased by the space probe. Do you remember this?
Vaguely.
It's one of my favorite shots of the Enterprise.
I remember the ending clearly.
Yeah, the Enterprise does a full about, and it kind of turns and leaves. It's one of my favorite shots of the Enterprise D. And Worf's just like, phasers, nothing's working. We got to hit it with 10 photon torpedoes, but it's so close, the blast is going to blow us up too. And then basically Barclay just says, get out of the way, Geordi. I'm just going to do this myself. I can enhance the shield by 10 times their strength. He basically saves the ship. And Geordi's like, I don't know how the hell he did that. And then, so you have this great performance from Dwight Schultz, the A-Team guy.
Yeah.
Where he has to play clumsy, awkward, bad actor, but then...
What the devil is he doing there among us? Philosopher, scientist, poet, musician, duelist. Here lies Hercule Savignan, the Cyrano de Bergerac.
He does the scene from Cyrano, and he moves Dr. Crusher to tears with his acting. It's not the perfect parallel for the TNG episode, story-wise, but it is a nice little framing device, because in the Cyrano de Bergerac play, you know, he's an ugly guy with a big nose, and he's smart and, you know, thoughtful on the inside, but on the outside he's ugly. And then there's this other guy, Christian, I think, who's kind of more handsome, and he's wooing this lady. But Cyrano de Bergerac's writing the letters for him, and she's impressed by his mind and his thoughts, but she doesn't know it's the ugly guy writing the letters.
The whole episode reminds me of a story called Flowers for Algernon, I think is the name of the story. But basically, they did this scientific experiment on this man who's kind of slow, he's not very intelligent, and they do this experiment, and suddenly he's super smart and confident and suave and good with the ladies. And it just reminds me of that story.
Yeah.
Ever since our run-in with that probe, something's different about you.
What? Because I'm beginning to behave like the rest of the crew? With confidence in what I'm doing?
So they say his IQ is like 1,400 or some 1,200 to 1,400, somewhere in that range. It's like, you're the smartest human being who's ever lived.
So it's not just raw intelligence we're talking about here.
No. Creativity, resourcefulness, inspiration, imagination, they've all been enhanced.
And yeah, so then he saves the Argus array. He figures out a way to fix it quickly. He's just blowing past everybody. They're worried about him, you know, but then Picard's like, is there any danger, you know?
That approach would require much more time than our original plan. At least 7 weeks. I could have it ready for you in 2 days. What?
His brain works so fast, he can't use the computer interfaces. So he has to create like this throne room chair in the holodeck where he could like interact directly with the computer via his brain, through lasers through his brain.
And he basically becomes the Enterprise.
He basically becomes the Enterprise computer. So he goes out of control, and Picard's like, okay, we can't, if we disconnect him from that, he'll die. And Picard's like, do it. I can't have a crazy man running my ship, right? And then, so the whole premise is that a highly advanced space alien from the other side of the galaxy doesn't go out exploring, they bring people to them via this technology that makes everyone so smart, they take control of the ship, bring it out there.
It's the most inefficient way to study the galaxy.
Yeah, I think it's pretty efficient. Bring them to you. So it has the seek out new life, new civilizations. They have a nice first contact with this alien, and then he gets brought back to his normal self after the whole adventure is over.
How do you feel now?
Smaller.
Just plain old Barkley.
And then at the very end, there's a little cute sitcom ending where he walks past the chessboard, you know.
Oh.
And he moves a chess piece, and he's like, checkmate, Nate moves. I think it's Troy who says, I didn't know you play chess. And he's like, I don't.
That's almost a guilty pleasure.
The episode is not like the best episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. I mean, it is on my list.
But it's your favorite.
It's one of my favorites. It's hard to pick a favorite. I would say it could be tied with a couple others, I'm not sure, but really, I really love it because it checks all these boxes to me. I love the leisure time on the Enterprise where they socialize and they have plays and poetry readings and then, you know, you got that ending where Worf and the security guards are trying to blow him up with phasers, and it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculously fun science fiction episode. And it has that great performance by Dwight Schultz where he transforms into another character.
I would be sad if none of our top fives had a Barkley episode, so I'm glad you picked that one.
And a lot of your top fives are mine too. Like you said, it's very hard to pick top five.
Very hard.
You must trust me.
Okay, so similar to you, I think my favorite all-time episode of Star Trek is not one of your obvious choices, like your Inner Lights or your Chain of Command, Best of Both Worlds. My favorite episode of Star Trek is probably most people think is pretty standard episode, but considering I like standard Star Trek, that's probably not too shocking. It is Who Watches the Watchers, which is an episode where there is this outpost on a planet that is studying these proto-Vulcans. They're this alien race. They're still pretty primitive. They're like Bronze Age, Stone Age, not a little over Stone Age, but they're not very advanced. They don't know anything about space travel, and some Federation anthropologists are studying them. They've got this holographic projector that's covering up this little watchtower base they've got in this little rocky hill area, but it's malfunctioning. It needs this engineering assistance from the Enterprise to get the holo projectors back on, or else the locals will see it, and the Enterprise doesn't get there in time.
We're on our way.
In fact, there's an explosion, and some of the locals on this primitive planet, they see this strange phenomena going on. What's that? Because they don't know shit about holographic projectors. They know bows and arrows and whatnot. And so they go over to investigate it, and they see what to them is magic. They see Captain Picard with this alien with his Starfleet uniform on, directing things, and they're using this fantastic technology to beam people away. And basically, there's cultural contamination, and now this race now starts to believe in Picard as a literal god.
Nuria, I'm not saying that all the old beliefs are true, but I did see the Picard, and I was restored back to life.
It's a good ethical dilemma episode, and it's also a good Prime Directive episode.
I was going to say that we haven't had a Prime Directive episode.
But each of us, including Dr. Palmer, took an oath that we would uphold the Prime Directive, if necessary, with our lives.
This is the best Prime Directive episode, in my opinion. The Prime Directive, if you don't know anything about Star Trek, is basically Starfleet has a no interference policy with. If you're an alien race and you haven't gotten out into space yet, it is forbidden to visit that planet. And this episode is basically why that policy is in place.
Not just to visit the planet, because you could do that in secret to observe, but to interfere. Interfere with the natural progression of the society or the planet, because I think there was the Pen Pals episode where they were debating whether or not to rescue the little girl and her family.
What we do today may profoundly affect the future.
And to stop the volcanoes from going off, because they're like, okay, well, all these volcanoes are going to kill everyone on the planet. Well, like,
is it really interference if they're all going to die if we do nothing? Yeah,
that's the way it's got to go.
What are you proposing?
If we can determine the cause of these geological disturbances, we might be able to reverse the process.
Violate the Prime Directive?
But yeah, where it's like civilization is so primitive and there's some kind of disease, or you can't just go down and cure the disease and leave.
She's going to die. They're all going to die.
Unless.
Yes, unless.
Because that's the natural progression of their society. Their culture might have died out. They could create warp drive at some point. That's really I think that's the big thing, is once you create warp drive, that's when.
Yeah, that's when you're going to run into other species anyway.
You're officially it's on the map.
Finally time to just show up and give everybody a briefing, which is another one of my favorite episodes. Didn't quite make the list. First Contact. The other First Contact.
Yes, where Riker is found out as a secret alien.
Yeah.
Your arrival will change our entire understanding of life. Some will not want it to change.
Also, a slight nod to kind of a funner episode when Data crash lands and gets covered in radiation, and he just wanders into a primitive town and goes, meh. And he forgets who the fuck he is, and he starts telling them things.
He gives everybody radiation poisoning.
Yes, yes.
Lots of good Star Trek.
I love when he interferes with the ladies' class. She's like, everything comes from the 3 elements, fire, wood, and water.
I do not believe that is correct.
Oh?
I believe you are reasoning by analogy, classifying objects and phenomena according to superficial observation rather than empirical evidence.
Actually, everything you're teaching them is wrong. Yeah, he's irradiating the whole town, and they're like, oh boy, they show up. Accidental Prime Directive.
Yeah.
Mishaps are a lot of fun episodes, and this is certainly a classic one.
This is a classic one. Also, it's fun just seeing the races meet Starfleet for the first time. Like you get to see aliens from the aliens' perspective in a way. Like. You know?
Yeah.
Because we are the aliens visiting them. Yeah. And that's fun when that happens on these shows. Something else I like about this episode is it's refreshing to me that Star Trek puts no value in the concept of faith. Star Trek is all about reason and rationality triumphing. And like this episode illustrates that because the thing in this episode is like, oh my God, we've given these people a belief system. We have to fix this grievous error at any cost.
We have a problem. The contamination.
It's worse than we suspected. The Mintakans are beginning to believe in a god. And the one they've chosen is you.
And that's fun to me.
They don't just, you mean they don't just leave?
Yeah, they don't just leave. It's like, well, they believe in something now.
You mean they just don't skip town like Luke Skywalker and Han Solo did, forever altering the Ewok culture? As thousands of years later, there are statues of C-3PO on a cross.
But Picard is willing to give his own life to stop these people from believing in something.
Yeah, he gets shot with an arrow.
Yeah.
But if the only proof you will believe is my death, then shoot.
Lingo, don't do it! Father, no!
He proves to them that he is human. Do they wipe their memories at the end? I don't remember.
No, that's pen pals.
Yeah.
This one, they reference pen pals. They try to wipe the memory of the guy who saw Picard, and it just doesn't work. Oh, okay. The brain's too different.
Eventually, someday.
Well, eventually, what happens is Picard takes the I don't know if she's a tribal leader, but one of their higher ups in their culture up to the starship, and he just wants to explain to her. He's trying to explain to this person what like technology is. Like, no, none of this is magic. Because they keep wanting, like, Picard, like, can you bring back our dead?
Yeah.
So he eventually takes her to the sick bay where one of the anthropologist dies from the wounds when the base exploded, and saying,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I can't bring back.
That's right. That's right. It's been a while since I've seen this one.
He has a good little speech where he's like, "Now, in your past, people used to live in caves, right? Well, yes, they live in houses now. Things progress. It's not a mind-blowing episode. It's not an epic episode. It's a standard Star Trek TNG episode in that golden era of like seasons 3 through 5, where like almost every episode was perfect.
Yeah.
And it represents all of that to me. That episode.
It's an encapsulating episode.
Yeah.
It's a figurehead episode.
Prime directive, ethics.
Aliens, magic.
Non-violent problem solving.
That's I like Who Watches the Watchers as well. They redo that secret Insurrection, the secretly hidden observation window in Insurrection. But yeah, there's a handful of episodes like that where they infiltrate an emerging alien culture.
Yeah.
To study them, and then they get caught. Then there's a couple of reverses where advanced alien cultures infiltrate them.
It's basically the opposite of what Kirk would have done in the original series. I remember an episode of Star Trek, the original series, where they're dealing with a primitive culture that doesn't have space travel, and Kirk like starts reading them the Constitution of the United States. We the people. This document says, "We the people." You can get away with that shit back then.
Yeah, 1960s, sure. Picard was a better diplomat than Captain Kirk.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
He was the cowboy. Picard was the diplomat. That's a lot of TNG talk, Rich.
Oh God, yeah. We hadn't. You know what the shocking thing is? We didn't have one overlap.
I know. That's weird.
Weird.
That's weird. We both like our. You didn't really have any too many guilty pleasures.
Not really.
No.
It's not that it's not like I don't like these episodes. Like this list might even change if I had the time to sort through and rewatch every episode properly.
Sure. I would consider Cause and Effect kind of a guilty pleasure episode. It's not really like a big thinker, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's neat. But yeah, you got to have your Prime Directive. You got to have your Picard speech episodes. You got to have your lighthearted episode. You know, where neither of us apparently like the Klingon crap.
No, those are like the Worf episodes. I don't want to say I hate the Klingon politics episodes, but I'm never delighted when I turned on the TV back before I could just watch whatever episode I wanted, and it was a Worf episode. It was like, okay.
Yeah. And neither of us seem too keen on very specific Data episodes either, other than Measure of a Man. But
Data's an interesting character. He's also kind of creepy.
I would not participate in a murder.
Remember in Descent, Data got emotions and he decided he was going to kill all of his friends. It's a little creepy.
Then he put that emotions chip back in on Star Trek Generations and went fucking nuts.
To be fair though, what came damn close to being on my list was it The Most Toys?
Yes.
That's a great episode. Which I guess bonus episode.
It's similar in vein to Measure of the Man. Is Data property or a creature? But that guy didn't give a shit.
Maybe we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are our top 5 episodes. We could easily make a top 10. We could continue this ride. I think 10.
10's a bit much.
Yeah, 10's a bit much for one show. Doing another 5. I'd be down.
5
down
total,
for it.
yeah. Yeah.
Just pick 5 more that you really like that are in your top 10. We can talk about them someday soon, after coronavirus is over.
If it's ever over, Mike.
But we always have our Star Trek on Blu-ray, and we'll always have our Star Trek phaser props to play with.
It's an improvement, darling.
Till next time on Review.
Is the stream
It is over.
on? Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
I see it.
just turned it on.
So we're live, right?
Yes, we're live.
So I need to stop saying all the bad things about my
Cut that out,
friends.
right?
I'm eating Cheez-Its, everybody. That's my food post.
Yep. Cool.
I just opened up the food post, see what we got.
Oh, I bet there's some good stuff.
When was the last one? All right, so it looks like Nathaniel Foga's kicking it off, but I mean, I won't start saying it yet, but
Yeah, no spoilers.
No food spoilers.
Those are the most important ones. Every day I come home and I go, Sarah, what are we gonna do for dinner? I'm always excited to hear her answer, especially when she says dessert.
Dessert.
All right, is that how far
well,
back?
y'all been cooking at home as of late.
Yeah, Sarah. I mean, me. Yeah, we
I
have
made my
been-
own hummus today.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I've been, yeah, you know, I just really decided it's time that I buckle down and work in the kitchen and get food built.
Well said, dude. I'm proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to build food.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at like making it warm. Yep.
Thanks, Dad.
Sit down, boy.
I'm trying to
This
figure out.
is as far as I can move.
I'm gonna run to the bathroom.
Okay.
Right. All right, I'll move this. I'll move it because Sarah's being so.
So it's not being mean.
Sarah.
I'm not being mean. I'm just.
It needs
Do
to
you
be
know how
about
mean
20%
Sarah is?
cooler.
So I was trying
How
to
mean?
catch up with Pony Life episodes, and Sarah purposely
Ew.
kept making it to where I couldn't on purpose. Oh, Sarah. You don't deny
No, I
Oh.
did the whole thing where I'm having him watch it while he's taking a bath.
I'm like a little kid.
Like,
Why- and then she scrubbed my hair and washed my back.
Should I put your diaper on? But you're like, you're like, Grandma.
No, we only do that on Fridays. Where are you going?
Hold on.
You can't just leave. Aero acrobatics. Sarah, I need to be closer to the corner. This isn't fair. I'm too far away. Do I sound far away?
Unfortunately, no.
That was Sarah.
No.
Gross.
Coming back.
God, Sarah, have some class.
Climb on the chair.
Oh, I'm going through some of these applications for my editors, and
yeah,
I got people who don't even like give me anything to look at, and I'm like, it's a bad start.
That goes. Move that over there.
Sarah just knocked over half of our computer setup. Oh, God.
Bye bye. Time to open another Patreon.
Right. Oh, man. Cool.
Are you hogging the microphone?
I'm hogging? You're one to talk.
Alright. Should we kick this off?
We should kick it off.
I'm ready.
I'm okay. Me too.
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
Yeah, what?
Alright, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Is Laura here?
She went to the bathroom fast.
Improvement, darling.
Do we want to wait for Laura?
Probably.
Get the 1 more minute to do it.
Okay. We'll wait for just a bit.
On average,
Plus, I
usually
goofed,
only
and I
takes
forgot to make this public, so nobody knew this was happening for the last
Surprise! If you follow our Twitter, then you knew. Semi-perfect podcast. I did not text Matt.
Oh, that's fine.
No, it's not. That was rude of me to just neglect him for not knowing.
Well, he might be busy. Who knows?
Yeah, right.
For them.
Now we're talking.
For me. For Equestria.
I texted him the word podcast. Do you think that was
Yes,
detailed enough?
That is detailed enough.
Good.
He said cease and desist.
I told him sue me. I wonder if that's like pillow talk for lawyers. They're like, talk dirty to me. They're like, I'm gonna take you to court. Oh, yeah.
God.
I find you in contempt.
Ooh, dirty. Well, while people head on in here,
Dude, we really need to have a jury. People watching us have sex, though. of peers.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Semi-Perfect Podcast. It's August. It's the 12th, and it's frickin' hot, at least over here. Nora said, my parents are
How
lawyers."
hot is it?
Oh, smoking.
Yeah, super smoking over here.
In fact, we have a fire that's in our vicinity. But
yeah.
Yeah.
It's really out of the ordinary for California.
Sarah loves it.
Another day, another brush fire.
This one's moving pretty fast. Like,
yeah,
it went from
an hour and a half. It's gotten to
1,600.
Yeah.
Or no, 6,500.
6,500.
Shit.
Yeah, acres.
Yeah, it's hot. Or I mean, it's big.
It's big
and hot. Just like Sabersbach. Yeah. So welcome in everybody to our Semi-Perfect Podcast, our podcast that we do every other week. Before we get going, just wanted to give a shout out. I know the POS podcast, you guys had a really big podcast a couple days ago. So congrats on that and all that. I tuned in for some of it. So, I mean, you guys said it. You had the gang back together. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, we had Jim come back on for a while.
So you knew it was special. But, yeah, so I just wanted to throw a quick congrats your guys' way for that. But yeah, we're the Semi-Perfect Podcast. We'll be discussing a couple things, some pony-related, mini off-topic. As Sarah posted on our preview for the show. How did you word it, Sarah?
We'll talk about whatever pops into Saberspark's galaxy brain.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, hell yeah.
More of a universe than a galaxy, but it's fine.
So, I've whoa!
Oh, Missy!
Whoa! Missy shows up, doesn't even let things air out. Missy in here with a super chat. Congrats on having.
So this is really disappointing. Missy stepped down. It's not 6 digits anymore. It's just 4. Or 5. It was 5.
6 digits like that. That would be a lie.
Saberspark knows numbers.
Yeah, that's right. No, let's push for the 6th digit next time, Missy. You can hit that 6th digit number. I know. No,
Come on, Missy. Stop slacking.
Big thank you to Missy. Always super generous and super supportive of our podcast here. So, a huge shout out.
Misty was actually over at the POS podcast earlier this week.
Well, now we know where the penny went.
Just a singular penny.
So I personally have like to think that Missy like runs like Missy is like a mafia godfather, and it's like patting a kitty, listening to some Italian chef being like, "Oh, she killed my daughter," and it's like, "I'll help you, but I must give $99 to the Semi-Perfect Podcast first."
There's some kind of mafia agreement that we actually aren't aware of. It's like, wait, I thought
there has to be a Godfather like parody where they're like at the Olive Garden with like the window with the the music.
This is on the phone app. That's why it comes up as $99.99. Because like for some reason on the phone you can only do like super chats in those like amounts. Where it's $1.99 or $5.99 or $99.99 or whatever. You can't get just like a specific dollar amount. It always has to be a $.99 at the end if you're on the phone app.
Huh.
If you're on the website, it's fine. But yeah,
that's dumb.
Yeah. YouTube's dumb.
Well, speaking of Olive Garden, why don't we jump right into our food posts that we love to do? If you're new, food posts. We always love to
talk about Sonic.
You're paid off.
No, not Sonic. We love to see what you're eating or what you ate. We just love to see food. Show off your food. Sarah's putting this all together. We still haven't set up our monitors to where she doesn't have to turn 180 degrees around because of our Ready Player Dumb setup. For those that don't know, Sarah and I run a gaming channel, so we've been doing all that stuff lately. And I know Sarah's been very busy with it. All right, so Saber, you mentioned this one. Nathaniel, do you want to take the first food post, Saber?
Yeah, let's do it. Nathaniel is saying, quote, I had a ham and chicken sandwich topped with spicy strawberry jam, hoisin sauce. How do you say that? How do you all say that? Or am I...
What is hoisin sauce, I believe.
Poison. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I'm
differently?
I'm going to double back
I don't
on
know.
the,
I think Gordon Ramsay said poison.
spicy strawberry jam.
Wow.
That's different. Because it
Look at
looks
that.
like... Huh.
Spicy strawberry. Wow, what a starter.
Yeah.
It sounds
looks good.
lovely.
Hey,
Yeah.
Matt.
Hi.
What would it taste like, though? Is it... Huh. All right.
Well, it tastes like spicy and strawberries. A little
Like
bit of tartness, or a little bit.
With tots and pepper jack. So
Yeah,
there's a
why
whole bunch
not?
of spice going on in this.
That sounds great.
I wonder if spicy strawberry jam is anything like. I think I've had jalapeno
Jelly.
jelly. Is that what it's called? Jalapeno
Generally,
jelly?
yes.
Yeah, I remember someone's like, "Hey, try this," and I was like, "This seems wrong."
But so right.
It wasn't bad. I just don't remember if it was good. Yeah. What a starter. Nice work, Nathaniel. Dang, setting the bar high. What is hoisin or hosen or whatever that what is that?
I'm copy pasting it right now.
Thanks, Saber.
No, go for it. I want to see what you have to say. Or unless you want me to just do a quick... I mean, I have it when we read it.
Yeah, go ahead and do it quickly. You'll probably be more accurate than I would.
Hoisin sauce is a thick, fragrant sauce commonly used in Chinese cuisine. That's where I heard it. As a glaze for meat, in addition to stir fries, or as dipping sauce. It's darkly colored in appearance and sweet and salty in taste. Although regional variants exist, hoisin sauce it usually includes soybeans, fennel, red chili peppers, and garlic.
Is this that stuff that we see at Payway?
Maybe. I don't know.
Probably.
Maybe
Maybe
it's either the soy
it-
sauce or ponzu sauce, I think.
It's a fairly common sauce in like Chinese or Asian cooking.
What
You've
a
probably had it before without knowing it.
What a sandwich. That is one of the most like
Intriguing sandwiches.
I mean like my gosh. Like you know what I had today? I had 2 bagels
It needs to be
and
about
some
20%
turkey
cooler.
in the middle of it, and that was it. So
Can I put a little spinach in there?
yeah, but spinach is healthy. Princess Deadpool with a food. Like, what are these called again? Food post. Says, hey, you guys. Or, properly to do it like Sloth from the Goonies.
Hey, you guys.
Thank you. I'm stuck at work doing a 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. shift tonight.
Damn.
So I brought a leftover pork chop with me for lunch/dinner break. Hope you guys have a fun time, and I'll see you at the next one.
That looks good.
So, funny story about Princess Deadpool. I don't know if some people realize, like, obviously anyone that like knows Princess Deadpool knows this, but I've been going on another nostalgia trip. I've been deprived, as we all have, of conventions, so I've been going through and watching all of them and kind of further documenting a lot of the details within them. And I was watching the concert from the first Equestria LA 2012.
Yeah.
And there's Princess Deadpool in the front of that might have been before Princess Deadpool was Princess Deadpool, I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, front row, you've been around. So I got a kick out of that. Like, there you are.
Alright, we got Nikki D. Got some snacks, but I got to do some cleaning at work, though.
Nice.
Perfect pod.
I love the photo. Yo,
Staying
taking
safe.
pictures. Love it.
Love the mask.
Yeah, it's cute.
All right, we got Taylor. Says, evening, semi-perfect podcast crew. Having some spicy tuna rolls with wasabi for the podcast this evening.
Nice.
Score.
Man, tuna's so good. Isn't tuna going extinct though?
No.
There's like a species, like a very specific species of tuna that's endangered, but not like all tuna.
I watched this animal documentary with Paleo where it showed like fishermen go. I think it's a yellowfin tuna you were mentioning, hun, and like how because apparently those fish are like worth tens of thousands of dollars alone if you get them.
Might be bluefin.
And I'm very certain it's yellowfin because I remember seeing it. But it's so funny because the orcas in the area got so used to the humans hunting the yellowfin in these areas that they'll wait for the humans to hook the tuna and then eat the tuna on the way up when they're reeling them in. And the fishermen are like, these fucking orcas, we can't even kill them because it's against the law.
Yep.
So the orcas are like, ha ha ha! Thanks for the fish, idiot. That was a really tasty $10,000. Thanks for the $10,000 fish, idiot, and swims away.
I just
they're slapping the water with paddles. The orcas are like, oh, scared.
Salutes with a fin and off it swims.
Oh my God.
It's pretty funny.
I just hope that like they straight up are like the dialogue is 100% accurate. Like the whales are legitimately just like idiot.
You fucking nerds.
Who's the apex predator now, bitch? It swims away.
They sound so sweet, but really they're so salty.
That's what you get for locking up. That's what you get for locking up Shamu, and they swim away.
Paleo's got a food post.
Let me see those
Paleo
kitties.
says, here's some cookies and fruit snacks for the semi-perfect podcast. Also pictures of my cats. Cute.
Paleo
That all rhymed, by the way.
Oh, hero sausage.
Oh my God.
Hello.
I love that this cat is just wedged between, like, such a thin layer of cushions.
Oh yeah, you should have seen Patches earlier. He had like his whole head in there.
Oh my God, what a dork.
And Patches has grown up.
I just
Yeah, he's grown up and he's gonna get neutered in a couple weeks. So before the next podcast, he'll be neutered.
Does he know?
No, he doesn't know
yes,
yet.
he's all the wiser. Here's some cookies and fruit snacks for the semi-perfect podcast. Also pictures of my cats.
Oh my
Why
God.
you rhyming so much?
Oh my gosh, a poet. Nora says, yo, semi-perfect podcast. Had a super duper slow day of work on the beach today, again. Having some cake and chilling with my new zombie Lady Gaga doll. Whoa. I love her so much. Pause up, born this way. Oh, and love you and miss you guys. Sending y'all hugs and kisses.
Nice to see they're keeping up with that Monster High thing. Sarah, you followed that for a bit way back when, didn't you?
It was not Monster High. It was,
No.
She just got high.
It was Ever After High or something like that. With, like, more of, like, fantasy book characters.
Huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, it looks interesting. Zombie Lady Gaga.
Zombie Gaga.
Cool.
Nice. And then our next food post. Oh, Dawson. Says, this is my dad's popcorn maker. I don't eat popcorn very often, unfortunately.
Nice.
I want
You might now that you have the proper popper.
Maker.
I want a popcorn maker.
Microwave's just fine.
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
Mr. Rockefeller over here wants a popcorn maker.
Apparently they're like a pain in the ass to clean because it's like you have to get all the stuff disassembled to be able to take it apart, put it in the sink. Just
Funny
like,
enough, I could actually
a lot.
confirm this because
That's why you never clean it.
I used to work as a mentor at
oh no,
at my community college, and there was a time where we had like a fair type of thing that I was always in charge of, like the fun events, and unfortunately the budget went away for fun, so whatever. But anyways, we had a popcorn maker like this, and my God, like the oil and grease like gets into places on this thing, like everywhere. It's like on the ceiling, it's on the glass. Yeah, like you literally, at least the one we had, it took longer, I felt like, to clean this thing than it did to actually run the event.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Good times.
I got first roll. Just moved into my new dorm last Monday to get ready for my sophomore year in college. Now I'm ready to just chillax with my banana and enjoy listening to my favorite peeps.
That is a banana.
It's a banana.
Man, I have no envy at all for you college kids going back to school right now. Like, good luck. And I don't mean that in a, like, good luck, but, like, sincerely, like, good luck.
Yeah.
Weird times.
Looks like a nifty dorm. Nice setup there on the desk.
And then we have Drummer Shy.
God.
It says, "Is this a food? Is this food for thought, Saber Spark?"
And it's Angel and the princess girl as
Charlie.
Charlie from Has Been as Family Guy kid.
It needs to be about 20% cooler.
I've seen this. I don't know, where this started, but
Yeah, apparently, there's a lot of Family Guy Has Been, like, redraws. It's pretty good.
Has Been was just announced that, I guess we're...
Oh my god, look at the replies. There's one of Tyrek, Chrysalis, and Cozy Glow.
It's probably under
Oh my god.
Good thing that wasn't, good thing that wasn't porn. We got Void and Void says, "I'm late. Fried chicken, not homemade this time, and some water."
Nice. Chicken and water.
Sweet. We might have chicken.
Chicken and water. Oh. I'll have your. I will have your finest chicken and water. Thank you.
Let's see if we missed anything.
I think we got it.
Yeah, got all of it.
So, let's go through, by the way, the one thing, I always lose track of what order I typically do this stuff in. That's why this is all semi-perfect. But, joining us here for today's podcast, we have Hirosashi.
Hello.
Paleo Steno.
Hi.
Laura.
well, howdy.
Panama Matt. Uh-oh.
Matthew?
We see it saying that you're talking, Matt. But we don't hear it. Didn't this happen to him like last time we were on Discord with him? So
This happened last podcast.
Yeah, maybe Matt can fix that. And Saber Spark.
No.
Yeah, we got Toodles.
Hello.
And I'm AC Race Best. Thank you again for joining us here on the Semi-Perfect podcast. Yeah, so...
if you ever wonder what order Race would go in to save people he loves most in his life, just look at how he rolls out introductions during the podcast where he works his way up to his favorite person.
Myself?
Exactly.
Well, I can't
Saber,
save...
Toodles, and then AC Race Best!
Well, I can't save anyone else if I haven't saved myself. Isn't that what they say about something? You can't love someone else before you love yourself. So, I don't know. I'm here. Did Matt fix his mic? Did we get Panama Matt back?
I mean, yeah.
Oh,
Hi, Matt!
It might have been that he was AFK.
I mean, I did get home 10 minutes after the podcast started, and I've just been, I thought I could sneak away. Clearly, I was wrong.
Well, let's start with you, Matt. How about you let us know, what have you been up to the last 2 weeks?
Since we're all on COVID time still, I can't really tell you what the last 2 weeks have been, but court has been getting back into session, beginning a lot more cases going forward, so business is going very well, which I'm pleased to say.
Good.
I'm glad those criminals are back at it again.
Oh, Saber, they never stopped. Went to the Aquarium of the Pacific over in Long Beach.
Oh, cool. That's a nice one.
Oh, yeah. They, because our state has prevented indoor assembly. They had the outdoor exhibits open. They had a fairly well reduced price. You got to go see the penguins, the sea lions, the shark.
They have like a Ray
stingrays.
touch pool there, don't they?
They have several of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless you're on a sexual
Some
predator
guys.
list.
Yeah.
What's that?
Never mind. You beat me.
Is that what you were actually gonna say?
No, but whatever I was gonna say is not as good, as funny as yours. All right, so never mind. Go ahead. Or at least as instructive. All right, go ahead.
No, keep going. I want to hear this finish. No. The aquarium was fun. Last weekend, I got out to a local area around town here. The restaurants have basically moved outside onto the street. They've closed down the streets, turned it into a whole pedestrian area, and it's really, really nice to be able to eat outside this time of year. Got to
Really
with
is
some
sounding
friends
like he's
that
trying to open a bag of chips inside of a quiet theater.
Oh, sorry.
That's paleo for you.
That's what made.
He was like,
I got my little bag of chippy chips. I'm gonna open them.
No, they're fruit snacks,
I mean,
right?
I wasn't gonna say it. The show must go on after all.
That's what made A Quiet Place so hard. It was so hard in that movie.
Everyone's got their snacks.
Even like popcorn. Like I was just like,
okay, I opened them now.
Oh, man.
You believe this guy hosts his own podcast? Jesus Christ.
Anything else, Matt?
No, I think honestly that probably hits the major points of the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I was actually able to get back out on a bike ride. I'm up to like 7 miles now. So it's really nice to get back to doing that, starting to fight some of the COVID weight.
That's good.
Oh yeah.
Probably good for your mental health too.
Yeah, getting outside is a lovely thing. But yeah, no, it's not back to where it used to be, but it's definitely getting closer. And with that, I'll cede my time to the next person. But before I do,
so
Is this an ASMR channel now?
So Matt